Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to this daily English Gita class. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Nitai Chaitanya ki jai, Parshuram Bhagwan ki jai, Vamandev ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. We are doing the chapter number 18 and the today's verse is Tat agre visham iva pariname mrutapamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. So today we'll discuss about happiness and we'll discuss about types of happiness also. So we know what's happiness. Everybody knows how to be happy. It's like very obvious that everybody knows how to make themselves happy. There's no doubt about it. But now what we don't know is this classification of happiness. Because sometimes whatever we think is happiness may not be real happiness. It can be some kind of a transformed happiness. Okay, let's talk about each of that. First, let's talk about what's there in this verse right now here. Okay, so here it said, okay, the happiness which is just like poison in the beginning, but then nectar in the end. Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, can you think of some general day-to-day examples where the beginning of the work is like really like poison, but at the end of it, it's good. I mean, it's very useful.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu.
getting up early in the morning,
Perfect. Yeah. Getting up early in the morning,
Doing
taking
exercise.
exercise.
doing exercise. Perfect. Doing exercise. Yeah. Can you tell me like what's difficult about waking up early in the morning and what's the poison, what's the nectar? Both.
Uh, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Uh, sometimes in the night you sleep late, and then it's so cozy in the bed, Prabhuji. It's so warm that you just don't want to get up. You feel like sleeping more and more. Laziness, Prabhuji. Most of the time, it is laziness that you don't want to get up from the bed.
Now I'm saying, um, what is the difficult part of it and what's the good part of it that you get if you wake up early in the morning?
Prabhuji, when we get up very late, we have to hurry through our work, our chanting, our daily prayers, and then everything becomes very tired and morosome. And when you get up early, Prabhuji, everything, all your work, and it goes according to the timetable. It is easy, it is peaceful, you're not in a hurry, you don't lose your temper, you are in a happy state of mood, a clear mind, and all your work is done very well.
Thank you. Yes. More examples. Somebody said exercise, right? So what's the poison part of it? What's the difficult part about exercising?
While doing exercise, you don't feel like doing so. Many times our body also aches in the first. Then it slowly gets habituated, and then we get the benefit of that in the
Yeah.
long run.
So in the beginning, it's like very difficult. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go, right? But then once you start doing it, you'll get the long-term benefit of it. You'll feel more active. Am I right? You'll feel more active during the day, or maybe like you'll not get sick often also. So that's about exercise. Am I right? Thank you.
chanting chanting Prabhuji. When we begin chanting in the beginning, we are
Mhm.
forced to chant, and we say, why are we chanting? We take the name of the Lord. We मन में कर रहे हैं ना, क्या करने की जरूरत है? And then we realize how it is, how you get addicted to it, and how much of pleasure it starts giving you. You just it's when you do it, you realize what exactly it is. And even regarding to what Mataji said, getting up in the morning, Prabhu, even the Brahma Murta gives you so much of additional benefit which we do not know. They say even the lords are up at that time, so it must be really beneficial because they keep telling us to get up in that Murat and chant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So what Mataji is saying is that what's poison is like at the time when you're starting to chant, there is so much of inner resistance that will say, especially when we're starting to chant in the beginning, right? So we have these things coming up in our inner voice will start saying, why do you want to chant, first of all? And why do you want to chant 16 rounds? Why do you want to chant now? Why not chant tomorrow? What's so urgent about it? So all these things will pop up in our minds, right? So it's like almost like we have to fight all those resistances and then we have to sit down and actually chant every single day, consistently chanting. Okay, that's really difficult, isn't it? I mean, especially when you're in the starting phase, okay? When you're able to get to that 16 rounds mark, before you get to that, there's so many things that are going on, inner voice saying, no, you don't have time, you can't do it. All these things, you have to fight that and you have to sit down and chant. But then once you start chanting, you realize the benefit of it, right? So how many of you realize that when you go to learn something new, okay, especially under a guided coach, okay, the first few days there's a lot of resistance. Yes? No? Yeah, maybe let's say you're going to learn, let's say, yes, yeah. Maybe let's say the first time you started to use your smartphone, how was that for you? Anybody can describe that? Was it easy?
It was difficult, Prabhuji. We didn't know how to use it or the keys, the notes.
Did you get frustrated in the
Yes,
beginning?
Prabhuji, sometimes, yes, because when I didn't know how to receive a call or something, even that was difficult. So it used to irritate me.
Yes. Is it better now?
Yes, Prabhuji, I've learned a bit about it, the smartphone, so it's little easy to.
So are you getting some advantage out of it now by using that?
Yes, Prabhuji, like I can receive calls, I can make calls, I can attend classes, I can attend the Zoom meetings. So yes, it has become a bit easy.
Yeah. So thank you. That's what happens, okay? So whenever you're learning something new, whenever there's a coach, whenever there is somebody who's telling you what you should be doing, okay? And we pay for it and then we learn that skill, right? So because we pay for it, that helps us to little bit, reduce our inner resistance sometimes, okay? Or we think about the end result end result in our mind. For example, let's say you signed up for a slimming program, okay? You want to become thin. And then the end result is that you will become thin. Okay, that's like the nectar part of it. So the poison part of it is the diet that will be given, right? So there'll be a diet that will be given to you that you should follow this strict diet. You cannot have whatever you crave for, and you should have strict portions. So all these things will come, isn't it? So that is like poison. But somehow or the other, if we can overcome that resistance in the beginning, it becomes very easy for us and we get the final result is there. The final result is guaranteed for sure, isn't it? Why is the final result there? Just think about it. The final result, it is there because the coach has already worked on so many other people. Do you agree? Let's say there's this weight slimming coach. Okay. He has created a formula, okay, for diet. Okay. And if we follow that, what's the guarantee that it will work? What's the guarantee that it will work? Multiple things. He might have used it himself, isn't it? I might have used it myself if I'm the coach, right? Or he might have used it on his clients. I mean, he has used it on his maybe hundreds of clients, and maybe he saw 97% of success. I mean, 97 out of 100 people, they became thin. So he's very confident. So he will say, don't argue with me. Just follow what I'm saying. Happens, right? That's what they will say, right? The food dietitians, don't argue. Don't ask all the scientific details. There are so many scientific details. Forget about the science part of it. Just follow what I'm saying. You'll become thin. Do you want to become thin? Do this. So similarly, you see, in Krishna consciousness also, there are so many Krishna conscious activities that we do. In the beginning, they may be like poison, but in the end, they are like nectarian. Okay, but that's again debatable also. There are so many activities which are nectarian in the beginning and nectarian in the end also. Can you tell some of your favorite Krishna conscious activities? What's your favorite Krishna conscious activity?
Lighting lamp, Prabhuji.
Okay, lighting lamp. Okay. You
Chanting
like that? In the
Prabhuji.
beginning also it's easy and in the end also it's nice?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. What
I've been
else?
doing it for so many years. It's very
Yeah.
nice.
Very nice. What else?
Singing bhajans.
Singing bhajans. So, do you feel any resistance in the beginning while singing, or do you find it very difficult at the time of singing? When you're singing, are
No, it
you
was before also nectar and after also nectar.
right? Anyone else?
Making
Cleaning the
prasad,
floor of the puja
Eating
room, cleaning the
prasadam.
vessels.
making prasad.
Making prasadam, eating prasadam. So, making is also a pleasure. Eating is also pleasure. Making, maybe for not all of us, but some of us who like cooking, definitely we will like making it and giving it to the devotees. We'll enjoy that part very much. When the devotees are eating it and when they praise it, we'll be very happy, isn't it? When Lord takes it, we are very, very happy. And when we are relishing the prasadam, right? So somebody said that. So when we are taking prasadam, so that's also a service, right? So that's such a nice service, isn't it? Think about it. Here is a service, is a spiritual process of eating. So that's what, Prabhupada used to say that our movement is kitchen movement, ISKCON movement. So that means it's like eat and go back to Godhead. Okay. So is there any spiritual process like that which says eat very nicely and go back to Godhead? Do you know anything like that? Anybody? Any spiritual process which says that?
No.
None of them. Nobody says that. Okay. Any yoga process you can go and try. Any yoga studio in the world, you go to the best of the yoga, all the yoga schools, top yoga schools in India, yoga ashrams, and try saying that, can I become advanced yogi by eating my favorite food? They may kick us out. Okay. So they eat very difficult stuff. So for them, maybe it's like that, poison in the beginning and nectar in the end. But then for us, it's like nectar in the beginning and nectar in the end. Okay. So yes, anything else that you want to say? Anyone? Any other example that you think of? Okay. So here is the thing, right? So this is the mode of goodness, happiness in the mode of goodness. We are talking about happiness. So there are happiness in three modes of material nature. Today we are discussing about happiness in the mode of goodness. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we'll discuss about happiness in the mode of passion, happiness in the mode of ignorance. And the more we realize, the more we read this descriptions of happiness in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, we start to differentiate what kind of happiness are we deriving. Okay, every individual is enjoying some kind of happiness, isn't it? It can be a human being or it can be even a small insect also. An ant also is enjoying. Ant, when it gets a little bit of sugar, is very happy, right? Of course, ants are very, very disciplined animals. They don't do instant sense gratification, isn't it? What do they do with that sugar?
They
They
collect
store
it.
it. They
They
store
store
it.
it.
They go and they store it very nicely. Okay, we saw the story of the ant and the grasshopper, right? So what does the grasshopper do? The grasshopper,
He,
what does it do? Yeah.
he keeps making merry Prabhuji and he
Yeah,
doesn't
he
look
just keeps
hard.
making merry, right? So he doesn't look for future. So that's what happens. So then when it is like the winter comes, it's very chilling outside and he's not getting any food. So that's when the ant says, you should have worked hard when it was when the summer was there, right? So it's like poison in the beginning, but then nectar in the end. Okay, what I gave most of the examples before, which are not Krishna conscious, like the examples of exercise and stuff like that. So this is like an example for us to understand the concept. Now let's take this to the next level and understand this. So here Krishna is saying that which awakens to self-realization. So it's not just an activity. Normal activities, okay, that's fine. Normal activities also, which is poison in the beginning, nectar in the end, they're good to do. Like a lot of things in our life, right? So, for example, it can be being disciplined in life, saving for the future, and build, working on your skills, working on your exercise, on your personality, all these kinds of facing your fears, right? So admitting mistakes and saying thank you, or saying
Sorry.
yeah, saying sorry, right? So embracing change.
Please.
Yeah, telling the magic words like please, reflecting on failures, whatever has happened in life. So embracing change when something happens, every time when the changes happen, taking it gracefully. So all of these are like, which is like poison in the beginning but nectar at the end, because there's a good result that we get out of it. The more we resist, the less we are going to learn, the less we are going to get out of it. So now, taking this concept to the concept of self-realization. So here Krishna is saying it has to awaken one to the self-realization. Okay, so to understand this concept, that there is something called a self-realization and there is happiness beyond our senses, it takes us a little bit of time. Actually, everybody experiences it, but they don't kind of internalize it or formalize it. Okay, so it's like this. It can be a part of our daily experience as well. Maybe when we worship God, we are feeling some internal happiness, but we're not realizing that this happiness is different from the happiness that we are getting by simply gratifying my senses. We're not able to formally make a distinction between that. So that's the reason why maybe we are not focusing too much on God conscious activities. Maybe we are just doing it like some kind of a background activity, or maybe something like my daily routine. I do it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I close it, something like that. And then all the rest of the day, I'm feeling sad. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita is a manual which teaches us how to be happy, and the happiness that Bhagavad Gita teaches is different from the happiness that we perceive. See, the happiness that we perceive or a common man understands is the happiness that comes from the senses. Is it not? So, like what? Just give me some examples of happiness through senses. We have
The
five
way
senses.
politicians splurge money on themselves.
Okay, what else? That's like a little difficult to
Watching
understand.
movie.
What else? Something
Shopping, watching
personal,
movie.
simple.
When you go to a mall, go to some rebate discount sale and go on buying
Yeah.
nonsense,
Yeah,
and
buy,
you
buy, buy. Yeah. That happens, right?
temporary happiness.
Yeah.
Prabhuji
Supermarket
petting
sales.
the dog.
Okay, petting the dog. Okay, fine. Okay. So more contrasting
Watch,
examples.
Going
watching
to a
movies,
restaurant,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Going to a restaurant and like eating a lot of food, let's say. Okay, maybe without any consideration, I'm just going on eating. Right? Happens. Okay.
When you get the results of what you want, according to what you want, gives you happiness, whatever you do. But you want the results in the way you think of and you want, only then it brings happiness. Otherwise, it's rumors.
When thing goes your way.
Your way. Yes.
Okay, where it
Your way
goes
or the
my way,
highway.
I feel happy. When it goes my way, I feel happy. But when it doesn't go my way, I become very sad. Right? Right. And what about something like coming out of the senses, something more raw, something more like clearly. For example, yeah, somebody said that, right? Eating whatever you crave for. The doctor has said you should not be eating this at this time. Okay, you're not well. But then I'm not able to control myself, but I eat that stuff. Okay, that's something more relatable. Okay, that is, I'm trying to satisfy my tongue, trying to satisfy my skin, trying to satisfy my eyes, something like this daily experience, right? I don't know. How many of you see Instagram or social media shorts and YouTube shorts, reels? You see how much time people spend? Do you have any idea how much time people spend on that? Anyone? Any idea?
You just get trapped for just by mistake. Even if you try to, reply to your friend's message, Then something else pops up and you go on, finish, you realize it's half an hour or 1 hour.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So that's how they design it. Okay. So you just open the app. Actually, you go to YouTube, you wanted to watch something, but what happens is as soon as you go inside, so there's so many suggestions that come. I mean, the algorithm, it knows what are your likes and dislikes. It completely reads your mind. Okay. And then it will just show you that suggestion which you love. That's the algorithm. That's a computer program that's written in the app. Okay. So you'll just get sucked into it. And then I will tell you, there are so many youngsters who are spending at least 6 hours per day. Do you know that? Minimum 6 hours per day. They're just simply watching this content, entertainment content.
Please, can I share something, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
Just a week back, I was watching YouTube and I was looking into a particular. I wanted to hear a particular person in this thing, and accidentally, my finger went into Sushmita Sen's this thing. It was a short this thing, and she happens to be one of my favorite actors long back. It sucked me, and she was doing a film on transgender. It sucked me, and I spent about 4 hours just looking into the video until I told my husband I need to see this movie, and he said, "What are you doing?" I saw the movie Tali, and 3 days I spent on this. Then I rang up a senior devotee, and I told him, "Prabhu, this is what is happening with me. Can you help me?" And then we went into talking about doing social work, about Sudha Murthy. Slowly, I went up to Mother Teresa. And then, I realized that even when you're doing social work, you're doing good deeds. You're getting trapped into material, again into the lifespan of material, spinning into chewed the chewed. And he said, see what happened. Then we spoke about Mother Teresa. I said, how much of good work? I said, Prabhu, but she was giving non-veg. And Prabhu caught me there and he said, yes, she did good work, but she gets bad karma also because she fed so many of them with non-veg. So Prabhu, this is very, very addictive and we have to be very, very careful. I'm sharing this very close to you. You may think itna bada senior devotee hai, aisa devotee hai, aisa kaam karta hai, but this is a naked fact that please be careful. I spent 3 days into it. I got sucked up into it, and then I had to take help. And thank you. The person who helped me is a very senior devotee. He was very nice to me. He said, it happens. Be careful, Maharaj. Again, I'm telling you all, please be careful where your finger goes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that, Mataji. Actually, it's a fact, okay? And it's really powerful, okay? So, Amoglila Prabhu, for example, he was saying, of course, it's not funny. It's really serious. But jokingly, he's saying that earlier days, there used to be apsaras, right? Who used to come and disturb the meditation of the yogis. But now we have what? What do we have now?
YouTube, mobile phone, internet, Prabhuji.
We have
Facebook.
Instagram and YouTube and the smartphone. So that's enough.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for disturbing our schedule, for disturbing our everything. Okay.
Meenakshi ke trinklets nahi chahiye, Prabhuji. This is more than enough.
So, but yeah, definitely it's not funny and it's definitely very serious. The social media is very powerful. It's they spend billions of dollars on it and that on the technology. And like I said, I'm into software and I understand what they're doing. So they are using the artificial intelligence for actually, their goal is this, very simple. How much time can I have of yours? That's it. Because the more time I take of yours, the more money I get. It's like that. Time is money. Social media, you're not paying anything to do to YouTube, right? Do you pay any money? Do you pay any money for Instagram? No. Social media, Facebook, none of it.
YouTube, we are paying, no, Prabhuji, so that we don't get ads.
Yeah. If you are taking that ad-free program, then you pay. But otherwise, that's like maybe 10% or maybe 2% of the audience pay. But what about the 98% of them? Nobody pays, right? So they are okay with the ads. That's okay. But what I'm trying to say is what they want from you is your time. That's the same model that has worked even in the cable TV also. The cable TV also, see, when you're watching the news program, when you're watching their program, something like Prime Hour, when you're watching, they put advertisements in between because they got your time. Even the newspapers is the same, right? So they have your attention. They know that you will open the newspaper every single day and they'll put an ad in the front page. So that's how they're making money. Okay, but now at least that was okay to some extent, because newspaper we used to spend around half an hour, maybe TV we just used to watch it when our favorite program comes. But now these social media apps are like all the day long, right? So always available, always distracting, and very powerful content. Okay, so why I'm saying all this is like, this is exactly the kind of a thing that's what we think. It may be happiness, it's also happiness. Why is it not happiness? That's my question. See, if you're watching your favorite things, favorite reels for a couple of hours, why is it not happiness? Why are we saying Krishna consciousness is the best happiness? This is a different happiness, that's a different happiness. So what's the difference between these two happiness? Can anybody try to distinguish? That's important. Okay, that's what, Krishna is going to help us with. Okay,
One is material, one is transcendental. So naturally, it is more gratifying, and there's a lot of difference, Prabhuji.
yeah,
You
but
feel
that's what,
what a waste of time. You got sucked into something, and then you start feeling guilty about it.
yeah, that's one point. That's a nice point. We feel guilty about it.
What
Okay,
a waste. I sometimes, because of the pain, I want to get, I want to do my chanting. I can't do it. Then I just wait for the pain to subside. In the meanwhile, I don't know what to do. So that 2-3 hours, I'm just doing nothing. So sometimes I watch TTD live. TTD live is in front of me all the time. But I feel guilty, or I have not been able to chant. So many times I open the YouTube and I then get sucked into something. But of course, many times it is one of these pravachanas only I listen, Prabhuji. I like to listen. So that doesn't make me feel guilty. I enjoy them like anything.
yeah, that's right. You see that nice point Mataji brought about. So guilt-free happiness. So I'm talking about guilt-free happiness. So if you're feeling guilty about what you did, right? What does that indicate? Now, if you're happy, you should be happy. Why should you feel guilty about it? So there's something somewhere from within our voice, inner voice, Paramatma saying to us something is wrong. Whatever you did is wrong. Something like that. So you're not feeling very proud about it. You're not feeling happy about it. And the second point that we came out was this happiness that we're taking from the materialism or material, that's affecting us. That's affecting us even from doing our normal regular activities also. So that's problematic. But the happiness that we're talking about in this verse, the happiness in the mode of goodness, is not like that. Okay, it's guilt-free happiness and real happiness. And there's another point that somebody missed. What's the difference between these two happiness? One more point. I'm looking for.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody asked me, what made you the most happiest, and which is which moment of happiness do you still cherish? In material life, you realize every moment of happiness is very different. When you passed your exam, you were happy. When you got married, you were happy. But what you do in transcendental life, when you go and see an aarti, or you sing a song, or you're doing an abhishek, or you're part of a ritual, you cherish that for a longer time. And the happiness there is very, very different from a mundane happiness. And you don't even realize how you spent the time and what really has made you happy. Seeing the deities made you happy, or being a part of the kirtan has made you happy, or because your dancing has made you happy. And you can cherish this moment, and the results, of course, knowingly and unknowingly, you get benefited in whatever partake you do with Krishna consciousness.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji, for adding that. And how many of you think that, when you do Krishna conscious activities and you become happy, it's more deeper and it's long lasting? Mataji said long lasting. Happiness is more lasting. I mean, you cherish it for a longer time and it's deeper. It's like coming from within. It's not coming from any one of our senses. Do you realize that? Right? So that's exactly what we're talking about. So that's actually there's also a verse in Bhagavad Gita, okay? So it says, Yo anta sukar antararamo antarjyotirevacha tatantarjyotirevacha sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutodhigacchati. So that means somebody like, who's taking happiness from within. Okay, it's like inner happiness, something that's coming from inside. Okay, that is like long lasting, and it's like this. Okay, there was someone who was searching for something. Okay, let's say that, okay, it happened with me also. Happens a lot of times. I'm looking for my spectacles. Just imagine, okay? I'm looking for my spectacles and I'm searching it here, there, everywhere I'm searching. I'm shouting, where's my spectacles? Where's my spectacles? Who took it? Just imagine, okay? My son is pointing out, you're already wearing it. Did that happen to you anytime?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So that's what is happening actually with us. We are looking for happiness outside everywhere. But we don't realize the happiness that we are looking for is actually right within us. We just need to know the technique to get it out. Yes, please. We just need to learn the techniques to get that happiness from within outside. So actually that is Krishna consciousness. That's what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, to harness the power of inner happiness, harness the power of spiritual happiness, so that we can be happy in this material world also. And at the end, we'll be able to go back to Godhead also. Okay. So there's a whole workshop that I'm creating out of this. There's a lot of content I cannot cover in this. There's a whole workshop, a 3-day workshop I'm going to do. Okay. It's called as the happiness workshop. Okay. In this, we're going to talk in detail about what are the types of happiness, how do we become happy, and how do we understand what makes us happy, and how do we maximize our inner happiness. Okay, how many of you are interested in attending that? So it will be like a 3 days, every day 3 hours workshop, and we'll be discussing in detail with a lot of examples and lot of exercises also. That's what we want to do. Okay, that's it. Nobody else is interested. Nobody wants to be. How many of you want to be happy? I'll ask like that. How many of you want to be happy? Only 3 out of 15. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you something. Okay, we have an inner resistance that says this happiness is very costly happiness. How many of you feel like that? Krishna consciousness may be happiness, but it is very expensive. Means not in the terms of money, but maybe I don't know what I have to give up. It's not possible for me to give up. How many of you feel like that? Right? So, but if somebody thinks like that, first of all, like I said, eating prasadam, right? Offering food to Lord and taking it, it's like nectar in the beginning, nectar in the end. But it's just that inner resistance that stops us from doing it. Something will pop up in our mind which says like something negative, like, oh no, not that, not this. Something is going to happen. Actually, nothing is going to happen. It's very good. And it's just our inner resistance. That's what the today's verse is about. The today's verse is about poison in the beginning, nectar in the end. Just like every resistance we have a resistance for this also. In closing, I just want to talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, when you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what do you remember? What is it that comes to your mind? When you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what picture comes to your mind? What is he doing? What are his activities? Anyone?
He's chanting.
Very
Prabhuji,
Sankirtan.
He's chanting, and then as a result of that, what is he manifesting?
He's in great pleasure and he's chanting.
He's in great pleasure. So is he sitting down and meditating and something like he's enjoying pleasure like this, or what is he doing? What is his
He's
pose?
dancing, Prabhuji. He's dancing most of the time. He's dancing.
Is dancing. When do you dance?
When you're happy, the most happiest time, you are dancing.
When you
Your
are
feet are not on the floor.
Yeah, when you are excessively happy, when you cannot contain it, then you start to jump in joy, right? So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like, jumping in joy. He's enjoying so much of ecstasy. And also, what else? What are the other symptoms that you see in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What else?
A glow of happiness, Prabhuji.
Glow of
He's
happiness,
beaming with
and
happiness.
what else? Do you see him crying?
Yes, Prabhuji, he's crying with the joy. It's the tears of joy.
It's tears of joy, right? And how is he crying? Do you see that there's like some drops are coming out a little bit, or how is he crying?
It's continuous water coming from his eyes, Prabhuji, because he's so happy chanting the name of the Lord. And he doesn't even realize that he's crying. The cry
Will
for the Lord is so intense.
It's very intense, yes. I'll tell you some incident, okay? This is a real incident. It's like Srila Prabhupada once, okay, this happened, okay? Srila Prabhupada once, he was taking darshan of one of the deities in USA, America, okay? And after he paid obeisance, he stood up. There was like almost like a jet of water that came and splashed outside. Okay, this is a real story, documented. It's like, jet of water. It like really went like almost like 1-2 meters and it fell on somebody. Can you imagine like what's the force with which the water is coming or the tears are coming from the eyes? What is the kind of emotion that's going on with it? Okay, that's very intense, isn't it? So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to be in such kind of ecstasy where it is said when he used to cry, the tears used to come out like 2 jets of water, as if there's 2 sprays here. It used to come like that. And all his dress used to be wet. He used to be happy so much. Okay. Actually, Krishna consciousness, if we do it properly and if we attain the love of Godhead, it results in such kind of happiness. Okay, that which we cannot even imagine. It's like beyond what we can imagine. So we are looking for that. I'm looking for my spectacles everywhere, but I'm not getting it. I'm looking for happiness everywhere, but I'm not getting enough happiness. But if we take to Krishna consciousness, the happiness is right there. We just need to know how to tap it. And when we become perfect in Krishna consciousness, just like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, we may not become to that level. We may not, because he is Radharani himself, Mahabhava. But even if we get 1% of it, how many of you think that we'll be very happy? How many of you think like that? That even if we get 1% of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt, we'll be very happy in our lives. We'll be very peaceful, very happy in this life. Whatever may come, we'll be very happy. Right? All right. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare Krishna
Pranam.
Prabhuji,
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Dandavat
Thank you,
Pranam.